So then, second trip, and just got to the lake and had a walk round, and unlike my previous trips when I've normally bivvied up on this bank here, I've decided today to do something a little bit different because I've never fished over in that swim there, so that's what I've decided to do. Main reason being is that I've seen the wood common in that back bay, and he was in there when I was here a couple of weeks ago. So from talking to the owner Rich, it sounds like he's not really left that area, so I'm just going to chance my time over there whilst Chris, who I'm fishing with, is over on that bank there. So he's got all of this water that I normally fish, and as you can see, it's a lot weedier than it has been on previous visits at this time of the year. So it's going to be tough, but I must say it looks a lot more inviting than when I was down here a couple of weeks ago, and it's still yet to produce a fish this year. It's been 4 weeks into the season so far, and all the big uns have been seen. The two big commons have yet to be caught for the last 2 years, so it might be a small lake, but it's very, very tricky fishing, and there's been some good anglers on here since the beginning of the year, and as I say, there's been nothing caught from here since September last year. So anybody who thinks that small water carping is easy, well, they need to think again, because this place is rock hard. They don't need to take bait. They have got enough natural food locked up in that weed, so it's going to be tough, but I must say I feel a lot more positive about coming down here on this occasion, and I feel pretty sure that something's going to give. I was just talking to the owner Rich, and he was saying that something feels right about this week. So, and the very fact that I've walked around and seen the wood common is a good sign, because a lot of people tend to see that fish all the time. I've yet to see it really close up, other than when I was in one of the trees a few years ago, and the fact that I've seen it close into one of the margins, yeah, that's looking good. You know, it looks catchable, if I'm honest. So let's just hope that the carp gods are on my side. Got the rods in place then, and as you can see, I'm well back from the water's edge. This is something I've talked about before in blogs on this lake. It's absolutely imperative here because these carp are so spooky. As soon as you climb a tree or pop your head over some bushes, they're gone, and you've got to keep disturbance to a minimum. And I'm probably about, I don't know, 15 metres or so, 20 metres or so behind where the rods are, and I'm keeping my voice down because hopefully this afternoon there's going to be some carp coming into this bay to the left. I mean, they call that no carp bay, but they do get in there, certainly when it starts getting warm. And I've got my left hand rod just in close. There's some lily pads quite close in, but just to the left of those there's a nice cleaned area there that the carp have obviously created, and I've just got a single hook bait on there. And then the right hand rod, I've got that in the bay to the right where I've seen the wood common. I've seen it next to some lily pads right in close, but it's too close for comfort really to fish to that spot. So what I've done is I've climbed one of the trees, and there's some clear areas in that back bay that look absolutely perfect for a single hook bait. So that's what I've done, is just fished as close to that area as I can. And you know, if he's in that bay, he's going to be going all around that bay. He's going to be looking around it because it's so small. So yeah, sit back now and hopefully something will develop. Both rods then I've got kitted out with really simple rigs, and there's nothing too dissimilar to what you'll see on my other blogs here, other than by my standards I've gone for quite a short hook link. That's roughly about 6 inches in length. That's the captive coated hook link by Avid, and I've taken all of the outer coating off, so we're just left with a nice supple braid. Another thing that's worth talking about is that, again, by my standards I normally use quite large hook baits, but for here I've gone for a real small Wafter SLK hook bait, and the reason for that is that the wood common that I'm trying to catch is known for having a small mouth. So when it comes into the area and it starts feeding, the idea is that this will go in there and hopefully it won't come out. Cup of tea time. You might have seen on my Instagram stories that I broke my cup the other day, and yeah, I've got a Man United cup now, but I'm not a Man United fan. This was bought by my mum, who is a die-hard Man United fan. I'm not really into football, but if I did support anybody, it'd be Wolves, because that's where I'm originally from. But it'll do for today though. everyone's got a way of brewing, but you've got to warm that cup up first. You cannot drink a cup of tea out of a freezing cold cup. I don't know what it is, I think it's just as I've got older and the amount of brews that I've had, I now need a mega hot cup and boiling hot water. There she is, the wood common, the one I've been after, and I'm just speechless, I really am. Didn't get a chance to get the head cam to get the fight, but that's unbelievable. It's a mega fish, and I feel really privileged to have caught him or her. Yeah, it's about 9 o'clock in the morning now, and I'm shaking, I properly am. I've just caught Rich. So then, a bit of a recap on what's just happened. Now, normally I use my head cam and it's right next to the bivvy door, but today, I've got to be honest with you, I didn't think that that was a carp bite, and I've been told by a few lads who fished here before, Lewis Porter and the like, that the wood commons bites are really finicky and it hardly does anything when it fights. And for the last few hours I've had the swans feeding not too far away from where my hook bait is, and they've been knocking the line and, you know, generally sort of giving me false indications. So at 9 o'clock this morning, when I had a couple of bleeps on the alarm, I just strolled to the rod thinking it was going to be one of those, and I couldn't see a swan anywhere near the line. So then I just sort of leant into it and half expected a little rud to be on the end, and I felt a massive weight, a great big thud, and saw a great big eruption on the surface of the water, and then just reeled in a massive common. And I've been told it does hardly anything when it fights, and that was the case for me. It did hardly anything, it just came in really easily, and that's how you want it to be when it's a big fish like that. And just scooped it up, and I'd seen it about halfway between where I'd hooked it and where I was stood, and I knew it was a common, so I knew it was one of the main two, but I didn't know which one it was. Now, I'd seen the wood common in the area where I put that hook bait yesterday, and, you know, back in my mind I was sitting there thinking, I hope it's that one. And because of the way that the light was, when I went down to net the fish, I actually thought it was the long common, because the fish was actually quite long and it didn't seem to have much of a width to it. But when I saw the white fins and the flecks on its tail, I knew then straight away which one it was, and I let out a silent punch in the air and skipped to me bivvy. But yeah, I've had a pretty crap spring so far, to be honest with you. I've hardly caught anything. Wherever I've gone to, I've been putting the effort in and not really getting much reward from it. And it doesn't matter how experienced you are as a carp angler, you sit there questioning, is what I'm doing right? Am I using the right rigs? Am I using the right baits? But at the back of my mind, I knew that my rigs were okay. I've been using these rigs for years on countless different waters, and I've got so much confidence in them. So I had to sort of maintain that belief in them. And the same with the bait. It's my first year on DNA this year, and I didn't use it last spring because I didn't start using DNA until around about August time. So some baits can be really good in the spring, and some can be a bit sort of, well, hit and miss. And I've got to be honest with you, I started sitting there thinking, am I on the wrong bait? But I remained faithful with it, and just a single hook bait, a single little wafter, dumbbell wafter, and it went down ever so slowly when I was testing it yesterday in the margins, and that's what it's come on. So yeah, I don't doubt anything to do with DNA's SLK, and I shouldn't have done, because I knew it's a big fish bait, and I knew that it was capable of catching fish at this time of the year, and it's gone and done that for me. So what my message is to anybody that's out there, if you're sitting there struggling on your waters, don't start messing with the things that you know work. Just remain truthful with them, and eventually, if you keep putting the effort in, the rewards are there. And it's been like that for me today. I've been megally rewarded with what I think is one of the best carp in the UK. So I'm buzzing, I'm proper buzzing, I really am.
I'll put this camera down.
Yeah, you give him a lift. Yeah.
I'll let you two read them out. I'm a weakling these days.
Oh yes.
Oh yes, Curry. Oh my goodness. Read it out, Chris.
53.4, I'd have said.
53.4?
Yeah. I'd say that's 53.4, mate.
Is that a late record, mate?
Yeah.
Rich, you've done this, mate.
Yes.
Thanks, bro. Cheers.
Let's come and have a look, Kate.
Hiya.
Hiya.
Sorry.
Wow.
Do you want us to give him a bit of a breather first, Rich? Again?
Yeah, what shall I come switch this up? Yeah.
Yeah.
Just sat in the water with the wood coming on my lap. So, yeah, there she is. What a magnificent fish. Cheers, dudes. Thanks for your help. And you, Bo.
That's awesome.
That is such a mega fish. I've never ever kissed a carp. I know Steve Briggs does it on every video, but this one's having it.
Oh no.
That's a mega fish. Chris? Yeah. Well, looking at you, Rich?
Yeah.
It's very dark.
Is it?
And this camera is.
On a Houdini? Yeah, well,
How about that?
she's gone well.
That shows how quickly he can disappear, doesn't it? It's down there.
Yeah, gone.
Yeah.
Bugger, I wanted that footage.
She powers every time.
Mate, them photos are going to make up for it.
Oh, Rich, thank you, mate. So I'm a bit wet. Thanks, bud. Thanks, dude. Thanks, man.
What a fish.
Oh, memories.
You deserve it. You totally deserve it.